Alright, what is going on, guys? It is Benny, and I'm going to be showing you guys the top 5 best decks to run in Clash Royale. Now, these are going to be the decks after the new balance changes, so you can rest assured that these are going to be the strongest decks in the meta right now, and I'll show you guys kind of how to play them and give you guys any tips I can, and as well as kind of tell you any cards you can swap out if you want. And so for our first deck, we are going to be running Goblin Drill, and now Goblin Drill is, you know, one of those decks that you can really mess around with if you want to. You know, there isn't like a guaranteed, you know, you have to run a certain card. So for example, in the deck that I'm running right now, I put guards into it, but commonly people will be using goblins. I'm just finding a lot more success with the guards, so that is my genuine honest opinion, which I hope helps you guys, because I feel like sometimes, you know, some of the decks that get recommended to you are perfect decks for like the perfect player, if that makes sense, and it's hard to be that sometimes. So I hope this deck helps you guys out a little bit. Now, a couple tips I'm going to give you guys for this deck is, one, make sure you're constantly pushing the same lane. You know, you want to really make sure that you're not changing lanes up here, unless you're doing like a split lane push with your Evo Skellies or something. And the other thing as well is going to be Goblin Drill placement. So you'll see there, I played my Goblin Drill and then I played my Wallbreakers a little bit too early, but I actually wanted that to happen because what I wanted, whoa, okay, hold up, pause, we're gonna have to log that. But anyways, what I wanted was I wanted the Goblin Drill to not be locked onto first by the Cannoneer, because the one shot from the Cannoneer will get it pretty low, and when the Goblin Drill is below half HP, then it can get one-shotted by the Cannoneer, or not by the Cannoneer, sorry, by the log. So that was kind of the reason why I did that, but typically what you want to do is Goblin Drill, wait a couple seconds, and then go for your Wallbreakers, and we'll do that here because we have the Evo Wallbreakers. So let's just kind of wait and see what this guy does. I'm going to go for my Goblin Drill now, and you usually want to place it in front of the tower. That's the best place to have the good timing. He's going to play the bomb tower, which is actually pretty crazy, so we're just going to fireball, but Wallbreakers I don't think are going to get anything out of that. And now I'm going to show you guys something really nice that you can do. First, let's play our Tesla here. You'll see here I have the Evo Skellies going both lanes. Now, he used the poison, so they're kind of useless, but what I would do is I would play my Goblin Drill to the side of the tower, and you'll see there both towers start shooting it. And so if you have Evo Skellies going both ways, then sometimes you can get kind of lucky and get a little bit of damage from that. So that's, you know, that's something that might be worth paying attention to. He's going to go for the miner. I should be able to just log here, and my tower should clean that up pretty well. And then let's go for the Wallbreakers here just to kind of be annoying. I'm going to play a Goblin Drill on the outside there just to make it harder for him to predict. And then I did go for the Fireball there just to get a little bit of extra damage, because I think this is going to be a pretty close one here. We have our Tesla for those Evil Wallbreakers. Nice try, buddy. That is not happening. And then I am going to log just here just to be safe. You know, nothing is worse than when you accidentally get an Evo Skelly onto your tower. That is pretty depressing feeling. Let's go for the Fireball here again for that bomb tower, and we get some decent damage there. I'm not super mad about it. He's gonna go for the miner. We can just play our Tesla right here, and I can even play my single elixir skeletons. Psych, I cannot, because he went for the poison. Let's just kind of let that breathe for a second. Let's go for the Goblin Drill and the Wallbreakers. We took a bit of damage there, unfortunately, but that's okay. We can rock with this. Let's go for the Fireball here, just in case he plays something else. He does use his log, but he played it a little bit too early, so we are going to get some really good damage on the tower there. And I think that's going to be Fireball log territory, assuming that those Wallbreakers do not ruin my day. I'm hoping the guards get it. That was honestly closer than it should have been, but we are going to get the win here for sure. Good game and good luck, and let's go right on into it. Alright, you guys, for our next deck, we're running Miner Poison. Now, I think Miner Poison is one of those decks that will always be good, so it's definitely worth leveling up. This guy has Skeleton King. I swear, if this is the E-Golem deck, Skeleton King E-Golem, I'm going to be absolutely depressed because I cannot stand that deck. But this is kind of a little bit different than your traditional Miner Poison because it's Miner Poison Mortar, and I think the benefit to playing this deck is the fact that, you know, with a lot of Miner Poison decks, I think they kind of rely on playing like a perfect game and slowly chipping your opponent down using your Miner. But at the very least with Mortar, you add that extra little bit of offense, so, you know, it's a tiny bit more forgiving than some decks. He's going to go for an aggressive Royal Giant here. I'm just going to play a defensive Mortar to kind of pull it, and then I don't think we're going to have to play another counter. I think that's going to be enough to stop him from getting any damage. He's going to go for a Skeleton King right here at the bridge. I'm going to pop my Little Prince ability just in case to kind of tank that Skeleton King, and we should be okay. And then we could even go for a minor counter push here. Now, one of the kind of tricks I would say for this deck is figuring out when you should Mortar and when you should Miner Poison. And so what I mean by that is, you know, once you kind of start to get closer to overtime is when you want to start to cycle those minor poisons, or when their tower has, like, I'd say close to about 1,000 damage or HP left. That's when I would start to cycle your minor poisons. But before that, I don't know if I would. I would kind of rely more on your mortar just because it's good damage. And you know, it's a little bit more, you can get a little bit more out of it. So that is one thing that I would definitely recommend. He's probably going to go for a Royal Giant here. So I'm going to start my Little Prince in the back, and I got my Knight in front. Now, when you're playing against Royal Giant, you have to remember they have Fishermen. So, you know, one of the most important things is that you get something in front of your Little Prince for that Fisherman. There, see, there it is right there. I'm going to log here just to make sure that Fisherman goes down before anything too crazy happens. Then I'm even going to pop my Evil Mortar. And he used that E-Spirit, so I think I can go with my Evil Bats here. He's going to Fireball, so he will get some good value out of that. But our Evil Bats should help take everything out. If we log that Royal Giant, I don't think he'll get any shots at all. So that is good. And then we also get that one Evil Archer down. The Evil Archer on the left side did some crazy damage. I kind of forgot they do that much damage, which is depressing, but that's okay. Let's just cycle our Knights in the back. He's definitely going to switch lanes, which makes sense. But if I keep putting miners on the opposite side, he's going to have to continue to kind of play counters. So that is good. Let's play our Knight in front. And then I'm even going to poison right here because that's such good value. Then we can just play a defensive Mortar here, and we can use our guards to kind of counter this Royal Giant. I think he's going to go for the log and these E-Spirit. We can just log that Royal Giant back, and even if it gets a hit, I mean, he has more damage on the left side, so I'm less worried about that side. And then let's just kind of wait. He's going to keep playing those Fishermans to pull my Miner. I think I might go for a Mortar here, because every time I Mortar, that's going to force him to play a Royal Giant on the right side. So let's do that now, and then I'm even going to play Poison here, and let's just kind of wait and see what he does. There's the Royal Giant. Let's play our Little Prince here. He might Fireball, but we can play our Evil Bats if he does. There's the Fireball, and there's the E-Spirit. E-Spirit just landed, so now let's go for our Evil Bats, and then we can even log those Evil Archers back just to kind of get rid of them. And then let's go for a Miner, and now we're going to go for an Evil Mortar because we have the Evil Bats there as well to really kind of help out our counter push. And then let's play the Poison right here. Evil Bats are on the tower. I don't know if that Poison is going to hit the tower, but that's okay. We can play the Bats here to help clean up that Bar Barrel. And then let's even get our Knight in front here. And that Archer should go down, and now we're locked on the tower. Let's get another Mortar here, or Miner, sorry. Mortar doesn't fire, but he has to use his Fireball. Let's play the Mortar again. Miner is getting some really good damage. The only reason why I'm playing this Mortar so much is because I want him to, you know, be unable to play that Royal Giant necessarily, or at least, you know, have to keep countering my Mortar. So let's play the Bats for the Fisherman. We don't want to take too much damage, but now at this point we can just Minor Poison cycle him, which is honestly very OP in my opinion. We'll just go for the Poison there. There's the Royal Giant. We can play our Evil Bats, and then we can just log this back, and let's play our Knight to tank those Evil Archers. That Royal Giant will go down, and we can get another Poison down. Let's give him a good game, let's give him a good luck, and let's go on into the next. I mean, honestly, would this be a Benny video if there wasn't a Mortarbait deck in it? And I have to say, Mortarbait is still amazing in my opinion. There's lots of different ways you can kind of change the deck up, and you know, just to kind of prove it, the #2 guy in the world is using Mortarbait. I had a very good season finish last season using Mortarbait, so I would definitely recommend it. Now, one thing I will say, Evil Bomber is definitely nerfed, but at the same time, it's like different, if that makes sense. It's harder to get a lineup necessarily mindlessly, but in Mortar, it still works in my opinion, because if they play a building, you can usually get a Mortar lineup, which is very nice, or I mean an Evil Bomber lineup. And if you get an Evil Bomber lineup now, it does like double the damage. You guys remember that glitch, or I don't know if it's a glitch or what it is, but how you could get like that double bounce going? You can still do that, which is kind of crazy in my opinion. So, you know, like now, if you get a lock onto tower, you're almost guaranteed to get a double bounce, which is absurd in my opinion. I honestly, it's like a little bit harder to get a lineup, but you get a ton of damage. But still, if you don't want to use Evil Bomber, you can run Evil Knight, and then you can run just the classic Spear Goblins, Goblin Gang version. So if you were wondering about that, you would change Bomber out with Spear Goblins, and then you'd run Evil Knight. But what you can also do is you can also run guards in this deck. So, you know, an example of that would be swapping a Goblin Gang for guards. I'm going to go for Skeleton Barrel here. Here's a little trick you can do. He's going to play his Night Witch because he's like, oh, I can get so much value out of this. Then you just Fireball, and then now they have to play another counter, and they kind of panic, and sometimes you can really catch them lacking and get so much damage out of it. So, you know, that's one thing. Now, playing against Goblin Giant is definitely an interesting matchup. I think that, you know, you have to kind of play some solid defense. I'm going to play my Goblin Gang here because he's using Cannoneer and he used his Rage. So let's see how he counters that. He has to play his Evil Knight, which, I mean, is not like... It's not like we just like killed any ability of him to have a push there, but you know, that's pretty good. I'm going to play my Evil Mortar defensively here just because it is so good defensively. Evil Bats are not going to go down, but that's okay. I don't know if I'm going to have to counter them necessarily. I'm going to fire, like, I think our Little Prince should do enough. I'm going to Fireball them, and I'm actually going to play my Evil Bomber right here, and let's see if we can get some damage on the tower. We do, which is very nice. He's got that Mother Witch going, which is going to be kind of annoying, but we can just log here. And now we can counter push because we defended that. So let's go for the counter push. Let's play our Skeleton Barrel here as well, and just kind of see. He goes for the Knight to kite. He's going to have to play his Rage for that Skeleton Barrel, I believe. But he plays Bats. I didn't even notice if he played his played his Rage to defend, or not even defend, but go on that offensive last time. Let's play a defensive Mortar here. Let's play our Skeleton Barrel just to kind of help out, and when it pops, hopefully that counters the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Sparky. Then we can just play our Knight here. Mini P.E.K.K.A. is down. Skeleton Barrel's on the tower. That's going to be game right there. Pretty easy win. Let's give him a good game. Let's give him a good luck. And let's go right on. Guys, for this next deck, we're going to be playing Hog Cycle. Now, I have to do it in the regular 1v1 arena because my Hog Cycle is not fully leveled up, unfortunately. I don't have Earthquake maxed out, and I don't have Fire Spirit maxed out. So, you know, that is unfortunate, but whatever. We can make do. This guy, he's used a lot of Elixir off the start there. Now, we are running Fire Spirit. A lot of people run Ice Spirit before, but now people are running Fire Spirit in this deck, so that is something interesting. And one thing you can do with your Fire Spirit is play it at the bridge just like this to cycle, and then they're forced to play counter, and if not, look at all this damage. Like, it's the equivalent of a Fireball, which is kind of crazy. We're going to play our Firecracker here to defend. Another thing as well is you can kind of change the deck around, and you know, you can use you know, like classic Hog Cycle. You can use Little Prince instead of Firecracker if you want. I know a lot of people leveled that before it got nerfed. And then you know, there's just lots of different options that you have with this deck. Let's go for a Hog and Fire Spirit here because I know he's going to play Goblin Gang or Barbs. There are the Barbs. And then we could even use our Evil Firecracker to help defend, and I don't think we'll have to play anything else. And we have our Evil Skellies to, you know, maybe do some defense at some point. Pretty good miner by him, but it's a little bit late, unfortunately. So our Evil Firecracker will get a ton of value. And I see a lot of people, they go for the Hog and they go for the Firecracker right behind, which is a really good play, don't get me wrong. But using an Evil Firecracker like that was able to counter 8 Elixir for me for the price of 3. And it was just kind of worth it. Like, it helps me defend. I'm going to split my Evil Skellies in the back here because that really stops him from being able to make a push. And then I'm just going to cycle my Tesla there. So I have, you know, some good defense. And we can play the Hog Rider here. I'm not expecting a lot of damage from it, but even if we can pull out like one counter, that's good. And we even get a hit, which is just absurd, honestly. Like, that is stupid. And then we can play our Knight right here to pull that Dark Prince. And let's play our Firecracker for that Princess so she doesn't keep getting value. And let's see if he counters that Firecracker. A lot of people sometimes make that mistake. Okay, he didn't make that mistake. We're up against a freaking genius here. Let's play our Tesla right here and just kind of wait. Now, when you're playing against this deck, one of the biggest tips I can give you is Fireball the hell out of their Firecracker or their Little Prince. Because if they have Little Prince, then they're playing it to have a fast cycle. And if they have Firecracker, I mean, like, Firecracker gets so much value. I'm literally going to play it here, and we should get some splash damage on the tower. Psych, I lied. But anyways, even that, like, we get those Barbs down, pretty good value, and it's still alive, so let's go for another Hog Rider here. Hopefully the Hog goes in front. Now he has to really, like, stack up what he plays to defend, and then we can just cycle here. I'm going to log, and then I'm going to Tesla, and let's play our Knight right here to kind of help out. He's going to go for the Goblin Gang, but it's a little bit too late because we have our Evil Firecracker. I wouldn't have logged if I didn't have my Evil Firecracker. Then let's just kind of wait. Let's use our Fire Spirit to pull that Dark Prince back up high to stop that Firecracker from taking damage, and then we can use our Hog. And that's another really big tip I'm going to give you guys, is don't be afraid to use your Hog to re-pull something. You know, like, I used my Hog there to pull his Dark Prince away and get some value on my defense and also have a counter push, and I would definitely recommend doing that. He played the Princess for those Evil Skellies and then the Ice Wizard. Let's go for an Earthquake here just to kind of start chipping down, and I think that's going to be game. I think we won this. We can just log, cycle. Let's play our Firecracker here for that Princess, cycle the Fire Spirit in the back, and then see how he counters this. I mean, we could just log Earthquake, but I feel like that's messed up. So we'll Hog, and then we'll Earthquake, and then we will log. At least we we do a little bit more. I guess that's game anyway, so let's give him a good game and let's go on into the... Alright, you guys, for our last deck, we are going to be using Giant Graveyard. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Benny, what the heck? Why are you using freaking Graveyard, buddy? First of all, I don't have it leveled because I don't really play these types of decks in ladder personally. It's just personal choice. If I had them leveled, I would. But, you know, my background is, of course, Minor Poison and Mortar. But the other thing as well is... Graveyard just got nerfed and it's still so good, which is kind of a sign that it's still going to be very viable in the meta. And I mean, it's been around forever, and on top of that, Giant is a very easy card to level up. Okay, so you know, you can kind of be comfortable using Graveyard in almost any meta, in almost any matchup, and Giant's very easy to level, and you can mix around the cards a lot. If you level up Graveyard, you have so many options to choose from in terms of decks. This guy has Mother Witch, which is kind of annoying. We're gonna have to deal with that, but he is running Cannoneer, which is a big plus for us, and I cannot count how many times I have lost to this frickin' deck in top ladder. So you know, that is just something to keep in mind as well. If Benny's getting smoked by it, then you know, maybe you can run it and smoke me in ladder as well, because I cannot frickin' defend it for the life of me. Let's just kind of wait now. Now I am running Evil Bomber and Evil Bats. You can change the Evil Bomber out, but I would 100% keep Evil Bats in this deck. They are just crazy. I'm gonna have to use them for defense here, but then I'm gonna go for a Giant counter push because, like, why not? Unfortunately, the Evil Bats go in front of my Giant, which is kind of crazy, but they're on the tower and that damage is just absurd, and you know, it's definitely worth playing. Let's just kind of wait it out. Now, when you're playing against Giant Graveyard, honestly, the best tip I can give you is kind of be patient when countering the Graveyard. I see a lot of people, they play all their counters to Graveyard immediately or all at once, and when you do that, you give them a ton of spell value, especially if you're running Little Prince. You know, Snowball stops Little Prince pretty easily, so that's one thing that I would definitely recommend. And then the other thing as well is when you're playing against Giant Graveyard, you really want to make sure that you're capitalizing on your counter pushes. So when you defend against that Giant, you really want to have, you know, like a solid counter push. I'm going to play my Graveyard right here, and then I'm actually going to go for my Evil Bomber because I might be able to get some value out of it. He's got the Wallbreakers coming in. I got to play my Bats here. Hopefully they get it down in time. Thank goodness they do, and that's going to be tower down. Then he's going to go for a Drill and Poison. I'm going to have to use my Little Prince ability here to counter that, so let's just do that. He's going to get some good value out of that, but that's okay. I think we're okay. Now that we have one tower down is when this deck is just absurd, because we can go for a Giant Graveyard in the pocket if we want to. I kind of want to actually show you guys an example of that, so let's go for the Giant in the pocket, let's go for the Graveyard, and then you just save your Snowball for whenever they play their counters, and you Snowball it, and that slows it down. Then we can just play our Bomber right here, and because that Mother Witch is slowed down, we get a lot more damage. You would think like Mother Witch fully counters Graveyard, but you see all that damage there. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one.